Every time I have a bit, Windows decides that my microphone is not synced. So a belated hi. To recap, the first thing I said is it's not just an anime song, it's another indie creates song. As this is the first game by the people that would go on to make Mega Man Zero, the Gunvolt series, Galgun, Card and Seal, Galgunvolt, Love and Destroy. Work for hire on Mighty Number 9, but not personally responsible for most of what went wrong with it. It's actually kind of funny to look at the company history and see how many things they kind of like... They kind of revisit things that Mighty Number 9 attempted, and then they go back like, I want to do it good this time. Like how the Luminous Avenger games and Copen's playstyle is based around scoring through dash combos. I guess you had to be there. I kind of love how much of like their style you can already make out in this game though. Like a lot of people simplify and say that like, oh, they've always made Mega Man games, or they're at their best when they're making Mega Man games. And their first game just kind of happens to have the same look as Mega Man Legends, with the blocky, toony style. I can't believe I didn't screw that up. Yeah, I run this pretty much every marathon. I used to be a world runner in it, and then someone else actually played it. Great guy. Goes by Friendly Dragon. He's like an Inti Creates super fan. Every so often, just out of the blue, he'll like send me a DM like, I got scans of the light novel based on Speed Power Gunbike. I forget what he said it was about. I think it might be a prequel. Exactly. Alright. When I was playing this last night, for some reason the boss music didn't happen. So the gimmick for this boss is you need to like knock its legs down so you can attack the body. And something you will discover within seconds of booting this game up is it's a little rough. It does not support analog input, so lining up your attacks is a little dodgy sometimes. If you wiggle left and right with the shoulder buttons while doing a charge, you can kind of like trick the game into giving you more hits. And that'll make this a lot faster. I phrase that as like you're tricking the game into doing things, but I think it's probably necessary on higher difficulties. Same goes for clipping through guardrails, because there's like some later stages where they just put a guardrail across the entire road. I should probably watch some of the higher difficulty runs just to see what it's like. I'm not doing this on purpose, but it's actually working out really well. Ah, shit. This part's really annoying. These other two bikers will, like, stay just ahead of you and shoot backwards. You have to kind of get into a rhythm of, like, preemptively charging so they don't hit you. Because if they hit you, you slow down, and then they start shooting again. And when they shoot you, you stay behind them. Now, the nice thing about this dash attack is it also has like a substantial amount of like damage reduction, super armor going on. So you can pretty literally face tank a lot of hazards. You can make these guys leave faster if you deal enough damage, but the only time I really messed with that was when I had cheats on. It's not something I've practiced doing for real. I'm actually going to eventually be on a podcast with my friend Sophie. They used to be like a Dark Souls Bloodborne channel, and they're kind of like embracing reviewing everything but now. So they want to talk about Speed Power Gunbike. I've also tried to get them to talk about like gacha storylines, but it's taken a while for the schedule to free up for this, so I'm not pushing my luck. I've got this thing about, like, there's like a lot of surprisingly good storylines that are like trapped in phone games. Okay, I need to kill some things. I'd normally do that a bit smoother. I try to get, like, meter built up once a stage. I'm just shy of getting another meter. And the excess is going to reset when the stage ends. So this is the train boss. This is my favorite boss in the game. You'd think that a game about like transforming vehicles would have more like pursuit stuff in it. You'll notice every so often I drop down into this other mode. It's like an armored bike mode. If you get hit in bike mode, you fly off Excite Bike style. And if I go down into rally mode, that doesn't happen, so I can recover faster. So this is one of those games where you kind of start each stage with like a maximum score and it like deducts based on your performance. I usually use the speed bonus as a guideline to how well I'm doing. Power is related to how many enemies you've destroyed. And there's no rating for Gunbike, because Gunbike is always maximum. Those mine layers are really obnoxious if you don't have a good amount of momentum built up. So this was like the first wall in the game when I started to like learn it. Because it's a maze. And your life bar and your timer are the same thing. So if you take too long or take too much damage, it's pretty much equally bad. Luckily, you can turn your compass on and be fine. Ah, shoot. There's a couple parts where you want to, like, ignore the compass and just go straight and it'll correct itself. That wasn't one of them, though. But there's a part where you break, like, 30 walls and it's really, really enjoyable. I don't think this is it either. So these random gibberish messages that show up on the screen while I'm wrecking stuff, it's actually like an onomatopoeia thing. It's roughly equivalent to the game going bada boom. Because like gan is for smashing into things. Oh yeah, this is a pre-DualShock PS1 game. But not by much, I don't think. This is like 1997 or 1998. Again, this is also their first game, so it's possible, like, maybe it was out and they didn't implement it. See, I slid a little bit and I knew I wasn't going to make that second guardrail, so I popped down into rally mode and spared myself flying over the handlebars. So that's about how half the straight up fights in the game are going to go. There. Got a meter. So like this part here, you can just kind of ignore the compass, break the wall, and then the compass is like, oh yeah, you're still going the right way. There's a lot of routes possible through this carrier stage. The game also tends to put energy pickups at dead ends. So if If you screw up, you can kind of recover still, most of the time. The differences between, like, very easy, easy, and normal are mostly, like, how fast your energy gauge drains, but when you get to hard and very hard, they start placing more enemies. Like, in particular, those blue foot soldier-looking guys. They'll just, like, line up in firing squads. On the lower difficulties, you can basically just ignore most of the enemies. The mine layers are pretty obnoxious because if you don't have some momentum going, you'll pretty much get knocked backwards at the same rate new ones spawn in. It's a good question. I don't think they tend to add support to stuff that gets put on PS1 classics. I think it's usually kind of a quick cash-in. Unless they need to, like, remove copyrighted music or something. Oh, that was smooth. The old drop kick. Every character has more moves than they really need. Most of them are useless. But Ami's jump kick is actually like a decent damage dealer against certain bosses. If you can get the speed, you always want to charge into things. But if you can't get the speed, but you're close enough, give him the old jump kick. This isn't really a hard boss, but it's kind of one that gets on my nerve, because I hate enemies that have, like, extended "you can't touch me" phases. I didn't get to tag it. Despite the name of the game, guns are functionally useless. You can use it on this boss to make it come out of the water faster, but it's still not doing any damage. And that's the end of that thing. Yeah, if you want to piss me off with a video game design, just give me a boss where it's like a dragon that flies out of the arena and you can't interact with it for like 30 seconds at a time. Ah, shoot. This particular minefield is really annoying because everything is spaced out in a way that if you get hit by one, you're gonna get bounced around a bunch of others. The tanks operate on the same kind of, like, aiming logic that, like, a Doom enemy would. You can just assume the tanks are always aiming at you, even if there's a wall in the way. So it is very easy to get caught in some stages if there's a blind corner. So we're already at 3 stocks, which is like the minimum I want going into the final stage. I don't really use the ultimate very often. I save it for one particular boss who has the tendency to be a large pain. Too much health. Seemingly literally random AI. Oh god, that's a lot of screeching. This is the character with the best handling. He has the best cornering and acceleration. I think her top speed is lower. And they give her a lower power rating, but she seems to do good damage, so I don't know what that's about. Based on the Trust Me Bro power ratings on the character select. The stage is like kind of a maze, but not as mazy as the other one that I called a maze. It'll more or less funnel you in the right direction, even if you don't get it the first time. Got a life pickup in the dead end. Oof. Sometimes I really wish the robot mode in this had some more speed or maneuverability to it, like make it control like an armored core unit or something. Instead it has like the slowest run possible, and it very, very slowly turns around. Which I'm guessing is something they did as an incentive to use the different modes. This part of the warehouse has a lot of tight corners and kind of ease off the accelerator a little bit. If you just give the gas like a little tap every now and then, it'll minimize the amount of that horrible tire screeching sound. Yeah, one of the things that Friendly Dragon hooked me up with was like, I think one of the artists or devs posted a bunch of stuff to Twitter exclusively at one point. So there's like actual line art and stuff for the bosses in this game. And I always thought that like the boss of this stage is like a teleporting ghost girl. And she kind of acts like it. But apparently she's just like riding on the back of it. I think it looks like she's fused to it still. Missed my turn. That's like a square, blind hairpin turn. Very easy to miss. All right. So, the trick with this boss I can't hit her. If you hit her, she's gonna teleport. She did a short teleport that time. Sometimes if you don't hit her at full speed, she'll stay on the same rooftop and not run away. We'll cut down on how much you have to chase her down. She's just kind of going between the same two this time. She'll usually kind of go like diagonally from wherever she was last. Okay, so that's her down. This stage is just a boss. Hey, morning, Rotostorm. In all three characters' routes, your commanding officer goes nuts and attacks you. Ami's has her like go into like an Evangelion berserker state. So you get like a free super mode out of this fight. And since the Major's AI is just like mindlessly aggressive, he'll just go straight towards you and try to circle you, which means he gets stuck on the wall. So if you just keep charging into a wall half the time, he'll just like grind himself to death against you. And we are already at the final stage. Good chance to show off that move. There's like a follow-up input to your charge. The two guys just like spin. Ami gets like these angel wings. But it's very powerful. If the timing is a little awkward on hers though, because she delays when she deploys them. And the charge follow-up is a way to clip through guardrails if you time it correctly. And again, because her timing is just weird, it makes her harder to do the guardrail trick with. That's why I skipped it in the other stage, and I just like drove around the guardrails. But this is a relaxing Sunday drive. This isn't pro gaming hours. Hi. Yeah, it's anti-gaming hours. Bizarro gaming. Oh, man. It's actually pretty rare for these guys to hit you in this section. It's a much shorter chase than the first one. So usually if you just hug the side of the road, you'll never see them. Okay. probable actual hardest boss is up next. And I'll let the cutscene play out for tradition's sake. I love this part. Yes. Yeah, you called it. So this is Plasma Legion. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Oh shoot. You don't want to leave him alone for too long or he'll start healing. As, you know, as all worst bosses tend to. There we go. So yeah, fun bit of trivia, in like their later games, they actually bring back Plasma Legion in a sense. In Gunvolt 2, there's like a two-part mech enemy that will split into like a flyer and a tank. And that thing is also called Plasma Legion. Okay. I've got an ultimate left, so I'm just gonna use that for the hell of it. I don't... It's a little awkward against this one because, like, the boss is invincible for so long. Yeah, that really didn't buy me, like, any extra damage. This boss feels like a driving test. You have to, like, drive by the column without hitting it directly, because then you'll stop. The tips of your wings deal the most damage, so you're kind of like aiming to narrowly miss. So if you can graze the column, that's ideal. And of course you have these 3 spinning orbs. Every time you make a hit, it's going to counterattack with some revenge bullets. There we go. And as all good 90s anime should, the game's final stage is a barely interactive, naked, transcendent trip through space. You're not missing anything, by the way. The models are detailed as like a bar of soap. It's just the vibe. Turns out he's into it. "2001: A Space Edible." Speaking of edible, you could donate money to feed children. Actual food. Not space food and not edibles. You know what I'm trying to say. Like we're flying through Sephiroth's supernova attack. What if he was trying to summon Gunbike the entire time, huh? What if that was Sephiroth's true power? Yeah, they've said in interviews that they went in trying to, like, make this game evoke memories of a Saturday morning anime. They didn't have, like, any specific one they were, like, trying to homage. I know Megazone 23 was an influence, which... Transforming motorcycle, yeah. I feel like there probably has to have been Evangelion involved. Because part of, like, the premise of the game is, like, the enemies are, like, immune to conventional weapons, so they need to, like, use the Gunbike to convert their spiritual energy into a barrier-breaking attack. That's actually why the guns on the bike are useless. Because if you shoot a regular enemy with your guns, you get, like, a little AT field effect. And that's time. I have lost control of the game. Just the game. Everything else is fine. Everything's great. We'll go ahead and let that song play out. Just really bask in it. As we're heading into the last day of the marathon, we got some of the big ticket donation incentives coming up. You can name the characters in Wizardry, you can name the characters in Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster. Remember your roots. Give to the kids. Live on as a Wizardry character. As long as they tend to live. But I have been TheThreeTwo. I'll be back with Large Michael, aka the Big Mike 1983, about 4:30 for Dragon Marked for Death. And then my last one's going to be at about 7:30 tonight. I'll be bringing back Catgirl Without Salad. A game where I will mostly shut up and let the game make jokes for me. Your eyebrows are ginormous.
for hours at a time, stare at the ceiling while I hold back what's on my mind. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine. Practice. I can never get off of my mattress. Yeah, only thing can ask you. Why are you so sad, kid? Why are you so sad, kid? I'm asking. What's not the point of the mask is? So you can see I'm trying, you won't see me crying. I'll just keep on smiling, I'm good, yeah. And it just keeps on piling, it's so terrifying. But I keep on smiling, I'm good, yeah. I've been caring too much for so long, and comparing myself for so long, and wearing a smile for so long. It's real, so long, it's real, so long, it's real. Oh, it's being judged by a bunch of strange faces. Scared to go outside, haven't seen the light in ages. But I'm in places, so I'm okay-ish. So I'm okay-ish, I'm okay, that's the fact is I need help, I'm failing all my classes. I think that I need glasses. I just really wish that I could pass this. Wish that I could pass this. That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can see I'm trying. You won't see me crying. I'll just keep on smiling. I'm good, yeah. And it just keeps on piling. It's so terrifying. But I keep on smiling. I'm good, yeah. I've been caring too much for so long, been comparing myself for so long, been wearing a smile for so long. It's real, so long, it's real, so long, it's real, so long, it's real, so long, it's real. So long, it's real. With a smile for hours at a time, stare at the ceiling while I hold back what's on my mind. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine. Practice. I can never get off of my mattress. Yeah, only thing can ask you. でも隣